Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Before we dive in, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow the account so you never miss an update on our A+ certification series. Today, we are architecting modern data storage, specifically tackling CompTIA A+ Core 1 Objective 3.4. We are going to compare and contrast the exact storage devices you will be deploying in the field. To build a solid foundation, we look at the 5 pillars of non-volatile memory. We've previously talked about RAM, which is volatile. It forgets everything the second the power drops. Storage is non-volatile, providing permanent retention. Today, we are exploring the magnetic platters of HDDs, the silicon of SSDs, the logical arrays of RAID, removable flash cards, and optical laser disks. Let's start with the classic, the hard disk drive. This is your mechanical workhorse. Inside, you have platters, metal or glass disks, coated with a magnetic substance where the data actually lives. The spindle is the central motor that spins these platters at high speeds. Data is organized into circular rings called tracks, and those tracks are sliced into sectors. The mechanical arm that sweeps across the platters to read and write the data is the actuator. Exam tip: you must know that standard low-level drive geometry formats each of those sectors to hold exactly 512 bytes of data. Because it's mechanical, performance is dictated by how fast that spindle spins, measured in RPMs. Speeds range from 5,400 all the way up to 15,000 RPM. Your total access time is calculated by adding the seek time to the latency. A higher RPM physically lowers the delay before the read-write head finds your data. If you are just archiving terabytes of photos of your dogs, a cheap 5,400 RPM drive is perfectly fine for bulk storage. But legacy enterprise data centers required the high performance of 15,000 RPM drives. You also need to know the physical footprints. Desktop PCs and servers utilize the larger 3.5-inch form factor. Laptops and portable external drives use the smaller 2.5-inch form factor. If you are replacing a laptop drive, pay close attention to the specific Z height, as they vary from a standard 9.5mm down to an ultra-thin 5mm. Fortunately, both the 3.5 and 2.5-inch drives utilize the exact same standard SATA data and 15-pin power connectors. Moving away from mechanical arms, we hit the silicon revolution, the solid-state drive. SSDs utilize NAND flash memory. Because there are 0 moving parts, they are completely silent, vastly more durable against physical shock, and offer incredible read speeds. To keep the drive healthy, the internal firmware uses wear leveling to distribute write operations evenly across all memory blocks, extending the drive's lifespan. Just be careful, SSDs are highly vulnerable to electrostatic discharge, so always ground yourself. SSD form factors have evolved rapidly. Initially, we put them in 2.5-inch caddies that plugged into legacy SATA cables just like an old laptop hard drive. Then came M.SATA, a bare circuit board that looks identical to a mini PCIe card, though they are physically incompatible. Today, the undisputed modern standard is the M.2 format. M.2 connects on its short edge, and the most popular sizing you'll see in modern laptops is the M.2 2280. As SSDs got faster, we ran into a massive bottleneck. The traditional SATA interface maxes out at 600 megabytes per second. Modern flash memory can push data way faster than that. In enterprise environments, servers often use the SAS interface, or serial attached SCSI, which offers faster transfer rates and higher reliability than SATA using a point-to-point serial protocol. But to truly shatter the speed limits, we developed NVMe, non-volatile memory express. NVMe completely bypasses the SATA bottleneck by utilizing the PCIe bus directly, achieving blistering speeds up to 6.7 gigabytes per second. If you want instant load times when booting up Diablo 4 or rendering high-res video, you need NVMe. For the exam, know your M2 keys. A B-keyed or BM-keyed slot usually indicates a 2-lane connection, while an M-keyed notch indicates a massive 4-lane NVMe connection. Here is your architect's matrix. HDDs give you massive capacity at a very low cost per gigabyte. making them perfect for bulk archiving and NAS setups. SSDs have a higher cost, but deliver ultra-fast, durable performance that makes them the absolute mandatory choice for OS boot drives and high-performance databases. What if one drive isn't enough? We use RAID, the redundant array of independent disks. RAID distributes data across multiple drives so the operating system just sees one single unified volume. We use striping for pure speed, mirroring for perfect redundancy, and parity for a balanced approach. RAID 0 is striping. It slices your files up and saves them across multiple drives simultaneously. It requires a minimum of 2 drives and gives you 100% capacity utilization, but it has 0 fault tolerance. If one drive dies, you lose everything. RAID 1 is mirroring. Every write is duplicated exactly to a secondary drive. It also requires a minimum of 2 drives. You only get 50% usable capacity, but you can safely survive one drive failure. RAID 5 is striping with distributed parity. This is the most common array you will see. It requires a minimum of 3 drives. Your capacity is the total number of drives minus 1. It can survive a single drive failure. Exam tip: beware the write penalty. Because the controller has to calculate the mathematical parity data on the fly, RAID 5 has fast read speeds but noticeably slower write operations. If you want more security, step up to RAID 6, double parity. It writes 2 separate sets of recovery info, meaning it requires a minimum of 4 drives and can survive 2 simultaneous drive failures. This is highly recommended for massive enterprise arrays where rebuilding a single failed drive takes so long that a second drive might naturally die during the rebuild process. The ultimate performer is RAID 10, the stripe of mirrors. This is a nested solution, a striped RAID 0 volume built out of underlying mirrored RAID 1 arrays. It requires a minimum of 4 drives and has a 50% capacity overhead. It is the absolute go-to choice for high-performance databases requiring zero compromise fault tolerance. Take a screenshot of this ultimate RAID configuration matrix. It summarizes the mechanics, minimum drives, capacity limits, and fault tolerances for levels 0, 1, 5, 6, and 10. Keep in mind, when building an array, always use identical disks, because the smallest disk will dictate the maximum usable space across the entire array. Next up, we look at removable storage. Flash drives utilize the exact same NAND flash memory as your SSD, just miniaturized and paired with a USB controller. They completely replaced floppy disks and CDs, providing highly durable, universally compatible, hot-swappable data on the go. Memory cards follow a strict evolution. The original SD card maxed out at 2 GB. SDHC pushed that to 32 GB, and SDXC allows up to an incredible 2 TB. You also need to watch their speed ratings, from original speeds up to UHS classes, and now the SD Express standard, which incorporates PCIe technology to push speeds up to 985 megabytes per second. Finally, we have the legacy of lasers. Optical media. Here, data is physically encoded on the disk surface and read by a laser. ROM disks are pressed at the factory and cannot be altered, like a retail movie. R disks are recordable once, and RW or RE disks are rewritable multiple times. You must know the exact capacities of these formats. A standard CD holds up to 700 megabytes. A standard single-layer DVD holds 4.7 gigabytes. And a standard single-layer Blu-ray holds 25 gigabytes of data. That brings us to the IT Architect's Toolbox. True mastery is prescribing the perfect solution. You deploy M.2 NVMe when bandwidth is the bottleneck. You deploy 15K SAS HDDs for legacy enterprise storage, and you prescribe RAID 10 for zero compromise fault tolerance. To get some hands-on practice with PBQ-like questions and really lock these concepts in, head over to XP Boost. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.